Once again, this is kvci.blogspot.com with George Boston Rhymes and, of course, John Robinson behind the camera. On YouTube, Boston G.B.R. We are sitting here today at Doc's house again. And, Doc, I wanted to really talk to you today, although I know you're going to be coming at me. But why did you want us to come out here this day to do this clip? Why did you do this today?
Well, to lead off into the next clip that you got coming up so that people can get a good understanding of the injections into that clip. When they go to reviewing the clip, they're going to see a lot of clips where it was edited, and they can understand the things that you will be expressing and the way you were expressing, and that'll give them a glimpse of understanding of what those little snippets is.
Will be, okay, all right. Thank you very much. And you had something to ask me about the picture here? Or this,
yeah.
By the way, this is your picture. Well, what made you do this picture?
Well, that was at the Lorraine Hotel. That was a drawing that I done. It's a pencil drawing that I done from Dr. Martin Luther King. That was the moment that he was assassinated. That was just a few moments before he was assassinated right there. And these guys there, and that was Jesse Jackson. Who the other guy we said he was? Abernathy, and the other guy, the gentleman, was Jesse Jackson, and the other one is the musician.
Yes, sir.
And I did that, but along those notes there, they were fighting civil rights fighters, same as you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we get right back down to the basics of here in Lowndes County, and this clip that they got coming up, that you have coming up, and showing the fight that we've been engaged in, and our exclusion, and the way you was expressing yourself yesterday. One of the things is, when you give your expressions, it's natural. Apparently, you know, you resigned from the military for how many years?
Oh God, 20 or better.
20 or better years.
Yes, sir.
20
plus for sure.
And you put your life on the line for this country.
Yes, sir.
And being a black man, you know what it's like to have to go up and confront generals and people of power and to fight to stay within a system.
Yes, sir.
So you understand systematics.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes. Just talk to us. Just talk to us.
Well, mainly, I would like for people to understand that, first of all, I appreciate John Robinson coming into my life. And I say that because I've been beat down so many times by so many civil rights organizations and leaders, and, you know, kind of pushed to the back because I seek humility. I've learned in this life, in the circles of civil rights, I got involved mostly in civil rights back in 1975 when Charles Demp's one over in Quitman was shot by a police officer, and I walked the street trying to bring about change. And I found out that the Bible is correct, and God is correct, and Jesus is correct, is that a man's enemies would be those of his own household. And so this is what we're going to talk about on the next video that you see. We're going to go behind the veil, and I want you all to see how we intend to keep things in your face. We can't let our history be lost. Over in Brooks County, the Mary Turner lynchings and the police officer, Earl Evans, that was burned up in a police car over there. And nobody has been brought to justice. And when you stand up for that, which is right, of course, the Hannitys and the Rush Limbaughs are going to come after you. Simply because, in my most humble opinion, they know the power of Jesus, and we're going to talk about that later. But I want you to take this picture that Doc Robinson have put together for us. And he has made a dent in history because this will always be among us in one form or another, if it's nowhere but in the heads and minds of our children. This man, Dr. Martin Luther King, I believe was sent from God. I believe that he didn't have a choice about the life that he lived. I'm sure many times, like myself, you say, I ain't going to talk about it no more. Many times, like Jeremiah, I'm sure, Jeremiah said he wasn't going to talk about it no more, but the burning fire for truth and right was in him. The only thing Jeremiah could say, he tried to describe it so we could get a gist of what he was talking about. He said it was like fire shut up in his bones. And he couldn't do nothing but go on home so he can get started tomorrow on the same thing. And this is what was in Dr. King. I don't believe that Dr. King really wanted to do what he did. I think it was a burning sensation from the God that gave him that burning desire. Jesse Jackson was another man. Say what you want about Jesse Jackson and what he did in life, the negatives that he might have done or didn't do. But there's one thing about it. You can criticize Jesse, but Jesse didn't have 400 wives and 300 concubines or 1,000 women like some of the other holy men in the Bible. You know what I mean? So Jesse is my friend. Dr. King is my friend. I don't hate any of them. Even this fella right here. He is my friend. I read something else about this brother here that was kind of negative, if you will, but I'm not going to mention that because I'm not into negativity today. My thing is to highlight this picture. Now, of course, if you remember this man here, this is, by the way, Ralph Abernathy, and he stood with Dr. King. But there's one thing about Ralph Abernathy that I think we need to understand, and that is this. Dr. King was not an ignorant man. If you remember in Dr. King's message, here's what he said, I quote, Ralph Abernathy, he said that Ralph Abernathy is the best friend that I have in the world. I'm going to repeat. That man was the best friend that Dr. King had in the world. Because that's what he said.
Yes,
I know the feeling of Dr. King when it comes down to that. Because after King died, you know what he did. He was the one that talked negative about Dr. King. That's not me. That's the historical archival record. He did it, and he can't deny it. But through all of that, don't down that man, because that was a good man. That man did what God had him to do. Now, I believe that. If he had not did what he did, God's word would be a lie. But David said, my own enemies are they that are of my own household. David said, the one who ate from my table, who supped with me and dined with me and drank with me is my... And so it is. And there's some things in this life that we just have to accept. Don't be bitter, don't hate, but elevate. Yes, my brother.
Yes, and along those notes there, when ever since Dr. King was assassinated, I understand about my brother Jesse Jackson.
Yes, sir.
But not one time was he ever seen again with Miss Coretta Scott King until her death. And that make me kind of puzzled, and I don't get the understanding of that, you know. But the main thing, it was the freedom fighters.
Yes, sir.
And just like what we're doing here today, right here in Lowndes County, and the role that you are playing,
yes, sir,
and everything that you are doing, and like the clip that you're going to be airing up,
yes, sir,
and where we're going to be coming from,
yes, sir,
everybody need to understand that this is a national problem that we are facing.
yes, sir.
It's the same problem we are having, they're having in their communities.
Yes, sir.
And it's a thing that we just can't be excluded from all the time. That's where we are included on the poverty level side, but we are excluded from the prosperity side.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Along them notes there, what you feel, man?
Well, a lot of times, man, our story is not being told. And that's one of the greatest things that is causing our children to commit crime. They don't have the knowledge of self, and we're going to address that. They don't have the same opportunities, regardless of what Mr. Hannity and the Honorable Rush Limbaugh says, and Black columnist Star Parker says. We need the truth today. And I can't stress it enough that the enemies of God and the enemies of Jesus and the enemies of Muhammad and the enemies of Buddha, all missions are the same, and that is to keep us ignorant.
I want to ask you another question. You know, we have black city council members that's been on these boards for years, and they go along with so many wrong type of things and issues that there are no things that if you know some of the things that they know, would you speak up about it? How could they sit there and be so silent?
Lord have mercy, that's $1 million question, brother. There are people in city government, local, state, national, probably international, who know the truth, but for whatever reason won't speak the truth. What they have in their head could set so many people free, could build a better nation, but because of fear, self-gain, or the hope of gaining the favors with somebody with money, they punk out under pressure and they won't tell the truth. One other point. Now, somebody knows. Y'all hear me? Somebody knows what's going on in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail. I know that for a fact. There are jailers, deputies who want to free their conscience because they see, they're a human being. See, you can ignore and act like you don't have a conscience and mistreat people that have sickle cell anemia or that have got high blood pressure or that are diabetic in the jail. And when they go up there to medical to get treatment, and people think they're just playing and faking. Well, everybody don't like that. Because some people go to church and they know the real Jesus. Or they know the real Allah. Or they know the real Buddha. And so they want to do what is right. But because they are driven by fear, they are driven by the need to have a paycheck, then they suppress the God in them. And so I know that they are crying out. They want to come and tell somebody. In fact, if they had a news media or a newspaper or a television station with the mindset of Al Parson of the Lake Park Post, they would tell their story. And then somebody would go in and investigate. And then it would make it better to open the gate so truth could get in and truth can flow out. And therefore people could be set free. The people that go into the jail are not proven guilty. They haven't even been to court yet. And so to mistreat someone just because they were arrested is against every principle of the founding fathers of this republic.
Well, I want to ask you this. Why do these guys that sits on these boards and these committees, city council members and commissioners, and they know they're black, and they'll sit there and they'll contain all this information, but they'll come and meet with us privately down at the McDonald's or somewhere that at a Waffle House, and it would show us color codes and show us what they're doing, but they'll tell us this, and then they'll say we can't say this because we just. I think that's a bunch of rhetoric. Then when we do go out and have a meeting and we're trying to do something, they'll come and get amongst us and get in front of these people and try to distort what we are trying to do. Why do they do stuff like this, man?
They do it because in the book of Revelation, so y'all excuse me, I'm not criticizing anybody in particular, but in the book of Revelation we hear of beasts coming up out of the sea. We see beasts. We see beasts in all shapes and forms. Now, in the book of Revelation, you got to realize something. Those beasts, a lot of them, if you understand what he's saying, John the Revelator, he really is talking about a lot of men that have been transformed into a beast in their mentality. Mm-hmm. They think like a beast. In other words, they have become beasts in human form. So the thing that really could provide for life, they are not about that. They are against those things that cause wickedness to spread. They are about those things that bring death to a nation. We have to realize that they accuse Barack Obama as being a Hitler. Well, look at the word itself, Hitler. Hitler hit people and put them in gas ovens. That is a hit on God's created being. He hit the blacks that was killed during the Holocaust. Nobody want to talk about. There was black Jews. Y'all don't know that, do you? There was black Jews that was harmed the worst in Germany. They won't talk about that. But I got the history of it, and I'll share it with you on my YouTube pretty soon. So he hit those black Jews. Nobody want to talk about the black Jews. And like I said on another clip, the black Jews, I'm taught, is the original Jews. So Hitler hit them. And then not only did he hit him, if you hit the child's offspring, then you are also, which means her sons and daughters, then you also are hitting her. So Hitler hit him and he hit her. And so both the male and the female, Hitler did. Now, Barack Obama is not guilty of that. He's unqualified so far to be a Hitler because he didn't hit him, Hannity. He didn't hit Rush Limbaugh. He didn't hit Rush Limbaugh's children, their little daughters. He didn't do that. And so, by him not hitting them, he didn't hit their wives either. So, hit her, he didn't hit him, and he didn't hit her. So, he's not a Hitler. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
On actually this then. So, what you were saying is that these beasts of the mind with these fragmented tongues,
yes, sir,
is the revelation of today's time.
Yes, sir. Same thing. Yes, sir.
So this is so we living into this revelation based upon what they are doing and the decision that they'll make to keep us, as you say, incarcerated. How you say?
Yes, firstly, they're indoctrinating us with their lies. This is why Hannity does what he does. This is what Rush Limbaugh does what he does. This is why Star Parker is doing the same thing. Because first of all, intro. In the Bible, the first word that's mentioned in the Bible is in the beginning. In the beginning, an indoctrination. They want to get inside of your brain to control you. They want their thoughts to be your thoughts. They want to create an image of you that they want you to be. So when they call Barack Obama the Hitler or the Antichrist, we have to realize that the Bible says that Satan transformed himself into an angel of light. And if he transformed himself into an angel of light, that means he transformed himself into something that he is not. And so is it possible that Hannity and Rush Limbaugh have transformed themselves by saying that they are the righteous, that they are the followers of the man called peace like Jesus, when in truth they just may be emulating and imitating and in someone else.
In other words, they're just twisted illusions of the man.
Yes, sir.
I hear
yes,
you.
sir,
I hear you. Twisted illusions of the man.
But let me get back to this before we close this clip out, brother. Because the next clip we definitely want you to listen to, and we don't take up too much time. But I do want to say this, Doc. I appreciate you for letting something lead you to set up the camera right here at this time to do what you're doing. To you who watch this YouTube, I want to say something to you. I've walked with a lot of men and women in civil and human rights. I walked with even the state president, DuBose, and district coordinator Larry Lockyer, and others, and Theodore Small over in Quitman in the 70s, walking the streets on the NAACP. And by the way, Mr. Williams, who was the wishful master of the Masonic Lodge, I walked with many people, but I've never walked as close as I have with any human being on this planet along the lines of civil and human rights as Doc Robinson. Doc, I appreciate you, brother. Short form, that's all I'm saying. Appreciate you so much, man.
Thank you,
and I appreciate your family, man. I appreciate your grandchildren, man. I appreciate the fish out there in your pond. In the
I hear you, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you.
Yes, sir.
Well, we are nothing special. We're just plain, ordinary black folks that's trying to strive to make it over. Yes. And the thing is, we all got to try and get over if we can.
Yes, sir.
And there's no need no one putting up barricades and obstacles, because we are determined to cross their barricades, yes, and knock over their obstacles.
Yes, sir.
And other words, we got to have it.
Yes, sir.
We are not going to permit nobody to allow us not to have it.
Yes, our time has come.
It's here.
Our time has
come. You know, so there is no need. There is no need.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got to keep this thing going, because we must understand that when truth comes into the minds of those who seek truth, then falsehood must vanish.
It must vanish. Because
falsehood is forever a vanishing thing. And I want to close out by saying this to America. America, listen, please. We can go around the world and tell people that we are a Christian nation. But are we indeed like Christ? So we're going to close on this note. As my friend Doc always say, we are not who we claim to be, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. As it was yesterday and the day before, so it is. Martin Luther King was on the right side of history. Bull Connor, Governor Lester Maddox, Governor Wallace was proven by the archival record of earth and heaven to be on the wrong side of history.
And it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
All right.
Thank you so much, brother. Clip it. Thank you so much.